Lesson 10 involves using content panels. And content panels are the accordion panel. And so it kind of looks like this. And you will be learning how to do these in JavaScript. And if you want to see the example on its own page, I have links to that. Plus, I did include a video demo explaining the code. And then if you wanted to see a horizontal version, so this is vertical, but if you wanted to see a horizontal version, there's a link to that as well. For those of you who really like this, if you would like to incorporate this into your term project user interface, you certainly can do that. And you could actually double dip that for part of the assignment this week if you wanted. The HTML, CSS, and JavaScript used are down here. Then we go through how to do the same thing in jQuery. So it's the same type of panel, it's just the jQuery library commands that are used instead. And then we basically do the same thing with the jQuery UI accordion widget. And you will notice that as we go from JavaScript to jQuery to the jQuery UI, the commands get more abstract. Okay, they're pretty well laid out in JavaScript. You can pretty much see everything that's going on. But when you go from JavaScript to jQuery, jQuery, one command will encompass several JavaScript commands. So it's not quite as apparent what's going on, but I did include videos that explain all of the code. So make sure you watch those. And after you get done with the accordion panels, you'll learn how to do tabbed panels. And I can quick show you an example of that. So a tabbed panel just have tabs that you click on instead of clicking on the panel itself. And so you'll learn how to do the JavaScript tabbed panel. You'll learn how to set that up. And there's a video that explains all the code. You will also learn how to do it in jQuery. And jQuery does use a couple additional methods that need some explaining because you've never seen them before. And the video does go through all of that. And then you will also use the jQuery UI. And there are code examples of how everything works, plus the video explains it. So make sure you watch those videos so that you understand what the code is doing. Then we get into Modal Windows. And so there are some examples that I have. I think this is one from the book. And I don't think it works right now, so we will go to a different example. This is kind of a cool one. It's a live site, and if you click on any of these, a modal window pops up. So this is actually a great example. And I created a couple examples as well. And let's see, oh, this is a link, and that is a modal. And let's see. So you can have a link be a trigger, or you can have a graphic be a trigger. And this is a jQuery example with a graphic as a trigger. Okay, so there's lots of examples. Again, this is something you can do in JavaScript or jQuery. There is quite a bit going on with the code, so make sure you watch the video because the video will explain the code to you. And then we get into photo viewers. And I did include an example from the book, plus I did one of my own. So these are my graphics. And basically, this is what a photo viewer does. You've got little thumbnails, and you click to get the larger image. And then if we come down here, this is a slider. Again, this is for photos. And with the slider, it's on a timer, so it will slide to the next picture. But you can actually click on the dots down here, and you can move it any direction that you want. Okay, so again, video explaining the code. And that's pretty much what we're covering this week. I did include some additional links for different types of effects that you can do in jQuery. And once you finish working through that, you are going to want to work on the assignment. So in the assignment, you need to do a panel, an accordion panel, and it does not matter if you do jQuery or JavaScript. You can use either one. You only have to do one. And so I did include the examples, and I included the videos that explain the code. Then you are going to basically do either accordion or tabbed panel using the jQuery UI. So for this first one, it's accordion or tabbed, and you have to pick JavaScript or jQuery. For the second one, you're going to do accordion or tabbed, and you're going to use the jQuery UI. And for either of those, if you like the way it looks and you want to kind of do a menu for your term project and kind of double dip the exercise with your term project, that's absolutely fine. Totally up to you. You do need to create a modal window. So I've got the examples here. And again, you can pick jQuery or JavaScript. And then you need to either do a photo viewer or a responsive slider. And so you can pick which one you would like to do. And I have the examples, and I also have the videos that explain the code. So that's the assignment. And also this week, the second milestone from your term project is due, and you have to have that mini showcase online. So the second milestone is one completed game and a second game that is partially completed. If you are using the jQuery drag and drop exercise, you have a completed game. If you are using the Canvas exercise that we had in an assignment, as long as you have changed the square into a graphic and you've added a graphic to the background, you can use that as one of the games, but you do have to have a score that displays. If you still have the square and you aren't done adjusting it, it can be one of the partially completed games. Okay, so this requires one completed, one partially completed. And when you are creating these games, you do need to keep in mind that you do have to have a game that uses HTML5, Canvas, and JavaScript, and you do have to have one game that uses jQuery. The third game can be whatever you want. Okay, but so basically you cannot do all three using HTML5 and Canvas. Okay, one of them has to be done in jQuery. For your mini showcase, make sure that you demo your game. So you need to go to your live site and demo the game. Okay, and then you want to address these different talking points. Okay, so make sure you demo the games that they are live online when you videotape the showcase. Okay, and if you run into problems or have questions, let me know. If you are trying to do some type of really advanced game, I cannot debug that for you. Okay, so if it's a little problem, I will help you out, but this is your project. It's not my project. So I don't have hours and hours to spend debugging your code and getting it working. So make sure that it is something that is doable for you. And I am happy to help you debug, but I'm not going to go out and write a bunch of the code. So I think going simple is good. It is okay for you to look at different tutorials online, but you need to make the code your own. You cannot just copy and paste somebody else's tutorial because that is cheating. So make sure whatever you do that it is your own. And if you have questions or concerns, let me know and have a great week.